looking at the aftermath of clashes in northern Italy. Late Monday, protests over a new round of coronavirus restrictions turned violent. In Turin, police say dozens of people were injured. Protesters looted luxury stores and set fire to garbage bins. In Milan, police tried to restore order with tear gas and took dozens in for questioning. Well, Italy was among the first countries in Europe to be hit by COVID-19 outbreaks. You will remember back in April, many people peacefully complied with lockdown orders, but with infections climbing rapidly now this month, officials see these measures as the only way to stopping a second wave. Connecting this together for us, CNN's Ben Wiedemann, who is out of Rome for you today. And I know that you've just got back from Milan. What was the situation there? And just describe this sort of growing, fear and anger?
Well, it's really fear more than anger. In fact, the interior minister here called what happened last night, particularly in Turin and Milan, as urban warfare. People are angry that they're looking down the barrel at yet another lockdown, perhaps. The government has been doing sort of a salami tactic of rather than giving you the whole piece in little slices. Every Sunday we've been hearing Giuseppe Conte, the Italian Prime Minister, introducing a new set of measures. And therefore, it's not surprising that in areas of the country that have been hardest hit by the pandemic, like Milan and Turin, that people are sort of getting fed up. But of course, sometimes we focus on the more violent manifestations of unhappiness, but one Italian television station, La Sette, put out an opinion poll, or rather results of one, saying that 28% of the respondents say that the latest measures by the Prime Minister were adequate, and that 36% said they were insufficient. So a majority of people are actually in favor of the current measures, or perhaps something even stronger. Now, one of the reasons, I think, why we're seeing this level of anger that we didn't see in the first lockdown, which was much harsher, is that if you just look at the numbers, if you bear with me here, Becky, the current number of positive cases is more than 236,000. That is double what we saw at the worst stage of the pandemic earlier this year. However, the death toll is a seventh of what it was back then. 141 people passed away from COVID-19 yesterday. So in terms of the death toll, it isn't having quite that effect on sort of the minds of people as it did earlier this year. And certainly the economic situation is looking grave. The worst case scenario, or rather estimates for the economy, is that the GDP will fall by about 10% this year. However, some economists are saying that if there is another lockdown along the lines of what we saw earlier this year, the GDP could fall by as much as 15%. So the government really is walking a very narrow tightrope with sort of anger on the one hand and the anger over the economic situation, and the desire of clearly a majority of Italians to avoid a repeat of the horrendous death toll we saw earlier this year, keeping in mind that more than 37,000 people have died from coronavirus this year.